Okay, so today I am interviewing Madeira ambassadors. This week, actually, I'm interviewing a whole bunch of them to take a little dive into their creative process and find out what matters to them about thread. So today we have Hayley West. So Hayley, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you as a maker?
Certainly. I'm Hayley West, and I have been sewing, oh my goodness, too many years to mention. My first introduction to sewing was way back in the 80s, so you'd have to go into the historic archives to look back at that. But dressmaking for my own personal need and enjoying creating something that nobody else had got, something that was incredibly unique to me. And that's where my journey started. Carried on through a variety of different arts and crafts and paper craft and all sorts of different areas of creativity to where I am now with my own company called Handmade by Hayley, where I do a lot of creative sewing, I design patterns, and I get involved with TV shopping as well. So yeah, quite a journey.
Yeah, so you are well known for your garment construction and your vast variety of skills, but tell us a little bit about you as a TV personality.
Okay, well, creativity and education is something that's very important to me. I love it when anybody thinks that they can't achieve something, but then they give it a go, and then it's that kind of their face lights up and they're so excited that they've actually made a thing, and a thing that looks good. And that's where I love to kind of educate and kind of encourage that from people.
Yeah, that moment when they say, hey, I'm actually pretty good at this.
Exactly, that light bulb moment when it all comes together.
Fantastic. So Hayley, tell us what you love to create with Madeira threads.
Oh gosh, I use Madeira threads in so many different ways. I suppose from the foundation upwards, I like to use it for my seam construction when I'm doing garment making, when I'm quilting, when I'm doing all my decorative work, because there's such a lovely range of different decorative stitches and threads you can use. Things like your variegated threads where you don't always know what you're going to get until you've created, metallic threads, the rayon threads for embroidery, but not just from construction, but also taking garments that are already pre-made and adding your own designer twist to them with a little bit of embroidery and rayon thread.
Yeah, and you have a whole bunch of wonderful things to show us today, so let's take a look.
Okay, well, one of the things I'm kind of known for is my garments and series of patterns and things like that. So what I often suggest to people that don't necessarily kind of create your embroidery after you've made your garment, why not do it as your construction? So for instance, things like a pattern piece, a sleeve, make your own fabric. So this is where you could actually take a pattern piece. This one I've used some rayon thread, so I've got rayon threads that I've used as well as a nice metallic thread for the centre of these motifs, and just kind of randomly pop them around the garment piece when it was cut out. Or it could be that you're tracing off your pattern piece and positioning the element. So that's the back yoke of a shirt, so that would sit on the back part of a jacket. And I think it's rather nice, but then taking elements of that pattern onto things like the cuffs, it could be, or it could go onto the collar, go onto the pocket. You decide, because it's your creation. So yeah, that's one of the things that I love to do. And also talking about the variegated threads earlier on, even taking just a simple design, simple name, and actually using variegated threads, you get a totally different look with it. So that's quite fun too.
Okay, so we've rolled in a beautiful garment here. So tell us about the creation of this shirt.
Well, this came about purely for a personal need. It was one of those things that I wanted, what I call a shacket, that sometimes I can wear as a shirt, sometimes I can wear as a jacket. So made this pattern up, and the idea was that you can be creative with the pattern pieces. So if you want to put the applique panels in down the front, you can do. You can mix up your different fabrics. There's plenty of area for you to add embroidery as well. But I wanted it to be simple for anybody who's never even made a garment before, to be able to have the confidence that they could actually create something that they could be proud of. So that's how it all came about.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your creative business.
Okay, well, my business is called Handmade by Hayley, because I'm Hayley, and it goes back to that essence of helping people be creative and giving them the encouragement to give things a go. So that's the essence of the company. So what I do is I keep things simple. Don't like to overcomplicate things, because you can complicate things with your creativity. Gives you that blank canvas that you can get really creative with. But I also like to help people out. So if people struggle with certain areas of sewing, I've got lots of little kind of YouTube videos to help up with how to put zips in, simple things, but sometimes simple things aren't that simple, are they? So it's nice to know there's somewhere you can go, well, hopefully with a friendly face to hold your hand, and yeah, we discover it together.
Okay, so what was your first introduction to Madeira threads, and what's been your favorite thing to do so far?
I think it might have been at an exhibition where I saw one of the stands, and it was like a kid in a sweet shop. I saw all these threads, all these colours, all these different kind of glistening threads as well, and I was just kind of wanted to dive into them and get going with them. And then it was a case of just trying a few, so the rayon threads, because I was always into my embroidery at that stage, so that's where I got started. And then because I was so impressed with those, I started thinking about the construction and the important part of making anything. So that's where I started looking at things like the stabilisers, bobbin fill, using things like the aerofill for construction and stuff like that. And then it was just, that was it, I was in. Up to the top of my head with Madeira threads, so yeah.
So right now, what is your favourite technique or process that you've been doing lately?
I still love my embroidery, still love the variegated threads, because they can make life so much easier, can't they, when you kind of automatically change. Love the kind of new threads that are coming out as well, and this is something that Madeira do, is they kind of think about the environment. So there's things like the sensor threads that have come out, which are beautiful, and I think it's easy to kind of get stuck in, not in a rut, but with your safe area, the things that you know, but do explore the range, because unless you give it a go, you'll never know, will you? So that's the thing, try out different threads. You might surprise yourself in the process.
Okay, now if you had one motivational thing to say to your community, what would it be?
Oh, now, trust yourself, because quite often when you're trying something new, I don't know why, it's something that happens, our confidence levels think, well, I can't do this. So if it doesn't go right, you think it's something that I'm doing wrong, but it isn't necessarily so. Some of it will be down to technique, granted, but also it's about the ingredients and the tools that you're using. Because if you're using some kind of, I don't know, old thread or thread that you picked up at a market, then you'll find that the quality of that will have an effect on the result. So give yourself a good go at a project, make sure that you're investing in quality products, and you'll be halfway there, and then that confidence will grow, and well, there'll be no stopping you then.
Yeah, and you have decades of knowledge with the essential uses of threads. So if you had a thread tip for everyone, what would it be?
Be consistent. So things like I use the same bobbin fill for my bobbins across. Get yourself a good range of colours. So they're foundation colours, so you've always got the right colour for your project, and then that way you'll kind of have the consistency. So if you part way through a project and you come back to it, your bobbin's emptied, you fill it up with a different bobbin thread, you'll find that it will affect your sewing. And this is where sometimes we don't think about the ingredients and what we're using. You just think, well, it's just in the bobbin, why does it matter? But it really does make a difference. Things like your stabilisers as well. Quite often we'll think, oh, just a single layer of stabiliser, but depends on your project, you might need a couple of layers. But again, investing in a good quality stabiliser to start with is going to make all the difference. Foundations, aren't they? You wouldn't build a building, would you, on rocky foundations, so make sure you've got quality to start with.
You've had a wonderful journey, Hayley, in this quilting, sewing, making world. So what are you most proud of?
Still being here after all that time, because when I started, I was just a hobby sewer. I never thought for a minute that I would be, well, here filming for Madeira for one thing. I just kind of bobbled along with my sewing, but that's taken me on a journey. And sometimes you have to have a little word where you give that advice, to listen to that advice as well. So I'd always wanted to go into garment design and creating patterns, and I thought, well, I can't do it. I haven't been to fashion college, I haven't done pattern cutting or making or anything like that. Don't even know the words. But if you go out there and you start sourcing and speaking to people, then it's surprising where it takes you. So I think that's probably my proudest achievement, actually having a pattern that so many people love and have found that it has helped them in the same way as it helped me.
Okay, and what is new and exciting coming up for you in the future?
More pattern design, because I've literally been bitten by the bug, but not making patterns for pattern's sake. They've got to have a purpose in my wardrobe. So I love having a capsule wardrobe, because as I said, once you've got that kind of base, then you can get creative with that base. So you can get creative with your fabrics, using your threads, using the different creativity, and give a garment a completely different look by using different materials. So yeah, I'm going to explore it more. I've been bitten by that pattern writing bug.
Now that there's a fire under you, we will be seeing more to come. So where should people go to find you on the social media?
Well, if you're looking for me on Facebook, you just look for Handmade by Hayley, you'll find me there. I've got a few different personas because I've got my TV shopping persona on there as well, so you'll find me as Hayley West TV presenter on there too. Also I've got Instagram, so Hayley West TV presenter on there, and then yeah, if you just put me into a search engine, I usually pop up somewhere.
Yeah, okay. Well, if people are watching this and they're thinking, oh, this sounds lovely, where can they find you on your website and YouTube?
Well, it's handmadebyhayley.co.uk. That's where you'll find the website. And on the website, there's all sorts of different products. You'll find Madeira products on there as well. Things like my patterns, so you can shop for those there. And there are videos on there supporting the different patterns that I've brought, bag patterns, dressmaking patterns. And then there are full-length videos that you'll be able to find on YouTube, which again is Handmade by Hayley. And they're kind of broken down into chapters, so you can kind of get to the area that you need help with without having to watch the whole video as well.
Hayley West, it's been so nice to hear some bits of your story. Thanks for sharing with us.
No, thank you.